President Yoweri Museveni unveils a $40 million five-star hotel targeting business and leisure travelers. Energy Minister Ruth Nankabirwa seeks to empower UNOC to source and supply petroleum products. Opposition Chief Whip Nambeshe maintains stand on abducted NUP supporters will not return to house. And in sports, giants Kenya set to tussle Zambia in the Victoria Cup second game clash. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Kijjanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has highlighted the importance of the private sector in Uganda's social and economic growth aspirations. Mr. Museveni noted that the country is a prime center of doing business and urged investors to inject more money into the economy. And as we hear from our reporter Dennis Sigoa, President Museveni was opening the 4 Points by Sheraton five-star hotel in Kololo here in Kampala.
The Sheraton 4.5-star hotel located in Lower Kololo has cost the investors $40 million to set up and directly employs 250 people. While formally opening its doors to the clients, President Yoweri Museveni noted the importance of the facility in Uganda's steadily growing hotel and hospitality sector.
So I was checking how many we have now. We have got 28,000. So you have now added another how many? 142 rooms is what? The 142 bedrooms, you would call them. So I really thank you for coming.
He also highlighted the benefits of a strong and resilient private sector in the social and economic growth aspirations of Uganda.
The private sector easily grows the economy for you. And if the economy is strong, you can afford to be independent because the economy is strong. And who is strengthening it? The private sector. They are the ones who are growing the crops. Like some of the speakers, we are talking about the agriculture of Uganda, the food. Who is growing the food? The food. It's not the government. It is the private sector, it is the farmers.
The investors envisage to contribute positively to the national exchequer through tax revenues.
We looked around in Kampala, we saw what was missing, and this is what we brought to your doorstep. And we made sure it's world-renowned. It is the one that you can go anywhere in the world to a Marriott facility and find yourself as good as what you got in Kampala anywhere else in the world.
This is in addition to providing ready market for agricultural products through locally sourcing over 90% of ingredients curated across the hotel's menus.
We made it a conscious decision that we want to support the local communities. We want to ensure that there is consistency. And of course, this country is so blessed. I think some of the best fruits and vegetables are in this country. You look at the watermelon, you look at the pineapple, you look at the oranges, everything is just amazing.
The Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Tourism Board, Lilia Jarova, emphasized attracting more investment in the sector to achieve the desired 40,000 bedroom capacity.
So we are still short. Just adding 142 to 28,000. Yes, it is an addition, but we will still need more. And the more of the quality that we require is really from 3-star upwards, because most of what we have is below that. And according to international standards, to host international conferences, meetings, the quality of facilities have to be from 3 stars.
The peaceful, pleasant and profitable business environment is attributed to the increased foreign direct investments in various sectors of Uganda's economy.
The official opening of Sheraton 4 Points is a major boost to Uganda's hospitality and hotel industry, boasting of 142 rooms specially customized for the business and leisure travelers. Dennis Sigoa for UBC News in Kololo, Kampala.
Thanks, Dennis, for that report there. Now, after the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission said that she's not sure of the existence of the abducted and disappeared NUP supporters, NUP leadership in Parliament has decided to profile the families of the missing persons. Opposition Chief Whip John Baptist Nambeshe says they still stand on their position of not returning to the House until government gives a clear response to their query. We'll have more in this story.
The opposition in Parliament has boycotted the parliamentary proceedings for the fourth time, stating that government has not provided answers to their queries of abductions and disappearance of their supporters.
A boycott is still on, and we are not about to relent or throw our hands into the air to call it off until our demands are yielded to by the government.
Opposition Chief Whip John Baptist Nambeshe says that the opposition has had several meetings with the Deputy Speaker over the matter, but in vain. He demanded for answers to consider returning to the House.
Because for them they make mention of only 18, but there are even more. And for them they are even skewed in the central region. But we have even many more mysterious disappearances of the citizenry in other parts of the country.
The National Unity Platform, however, has embarked on profiling the families of the missing persons.
It was imperative, it was our duty to provide information to the public, to provide information to the regime, to provide information to Mariam Wangadia and her commission if they think or if they're saying these people don't exist. So we have gone to all the families of the 18 missing Ugandans, and we've come out with a documentary. This documentary premieres tomorrow. It is in 18 episodes.
For real, these people exist, their families exist, and the fact that their families will be giving testimonies about their lost loved ones. So it will mean that government will be tasked to go down and investigate more.
Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gwitabenji, Parliament.
State Minister for Disability Affairs, Asamo Helen, wants the public to use appropriate means of communication when passing information concerning HIV/AIDS to persons with different impairments. Now, she was launching the translated version of the National Policy Guidelines on Ending Stigma and Discrimination Among Persons with Disabilities to reduce the spread of the pandemic.
By 2030.
Poor access to information about HIV, especially among people with disabilities, is still a major bottleneck to ending the spread of the pandemic among PWDs.
You find the AIDS Commission of that time, maybe this time it has improved, will demonstrate that if you want to use a condom, they will bring a banana and say, here is a banana. We are going to dress the banana, and then thereafter you can do the needful. Poor blind people went and bought bogoya and dressed the bogoya and went live. Your messaging is very important. Uganda AIDS Commission. All the communities here, we don't speak the same language. You might be very excited with your bogoya demonstrating, but for us we know it's the bogoya which is going to wear the condom, place it near you, and you go to business.
The translated version of the National Policy Guidelines on Ending Stigma and Discrimination Among People with Disabilities will bridge the communication gap about HIV/AIDS and the global cause of ending HIV by 2030.
In a layman's language, something positive is something good. Something negative is something bad. Now, what are we striving at as deaf persons? I'll give you an example. Someone being positive will be very happy. Oh, I'm positive, and that's good. You understand? It's a good thing because they don't understand the semantics and the depth of what one is meant by being positive or negative.
But of course, it is also a fact that they are stigmatized by the community members, they are stigmatized by some health workers, and so to fight all that stigma and improve access to care, we have come up with these guidelines.
The Executive Director, Uganda National Association for the Blind, Biekwaso Charles, says this initiative will help PWDs in accessing services. However, there is still more to be done.
Previously, all the information, and I think even still minimal, much as all these books have been put into Braille. But what about the labels for medicine? I have a friend of mine who died because of HIV/AIDS. He was fearing. He was blind, fearing for somebody to read for him the labels of medicine put on the papers. So he could screen, hide, maybe treat himself, give himself, and at times he could not complete the dose. Eventually, this guy perished.
The versions target people with visual and hearing impairments. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Innovation.
Now, a group of Pan-Africans have launched a Pan-African Solidarity Action for managing effects of the crisis in Sudan. Now, this, they say, is being done in the spirit of humanity through mobilizing for basic necessities for the affected people. Hardy Yakubu, the coordinator for Africans Rising Movement, says lack of basic supplies currently affects millions living in internally displaced people's camps.
Thousands have been reported killed and millions displaced, with children affected. When is this going to end? With no clear answer to that question, time has come to act.
And I personally have written to all heads of states and government to convene an urgent meeting to deal with the situation in Sudan.
In the intervening period, Africans Rising Movement is rallying Africans behind aiding Sudan war victims.
Sudan needs you. The ongoing conflict has caused a severe humanitarian crisis.
About 4,000 have been reported killed, 7.1 million displaced within and outside the Sudan. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says 19 million children are also reported out of school and exposed to danger.
In the spirit of Ubuntu, Africans Rising has launched a Pan-African Solidarity Action for Sudan. You can make a difference by donating material items. It could be your old clothes, new clothes, shoes, mattresses, and any other.
Ultimately, the war itself has to stop. We need to raise voices, we need to raise awareness, we need to keep it in the consciousness of Africans. If it affects an African, it affects all Africans. And we have a duty to step up efforts to make sure that this is dealt with once and for all.
Uganda has a similar appeal for extension of aid to Sudanese war victims.
So it is evident that over 1,200 children have lost their lives as a result of malnutrition cases due to hunger and due to preventable diseases. Brothers, this is within our means to have an intervention and never to witness any loss of life.
The war in Sudan broke out in April 2023 following disagreements between leaders of the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The fighting in Khartoum continues. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thanks, Henry, for that report there. Now, Dr. Faith Katana, the Director, Presidential Initiative for Skilling the Girl and Boy Child, has cleared the air on the alleged rumor of the Machindi Initiative branch lacking funds to run it. She stated that the Skilling Initiative is a government project that cannot fail to run. She was at a one-day registration of new trainees into the Skilling project, as we hear in this story.
These rumors came exactly a day before the presidential initiative is meant to register new intake of trainees, where it was alleged that the initiative's branch in Machindi had failed to clear its rent dates. Dr. Faith Katana says these are rumors spread by disruptors of the program.
But there is no commotion at all.
And as you have seen, and there is no lack of funds, they know that their money is there. Let them bring the necessary documents and they receive their money. Yeah.
During the one-day registration of new trainees, there was relatively lower numbers at the different presidential initiative centers compared to the previous intakes. This was attributed to the timing of the registration that happened at a time when holiday makers are at school.
Actually, the numbers compared to last batches, the one which have graduated recently on 6th October, the numbers, the turn-up of today, it was kind of a bit little because those other intakes we used to get vacists senior for, but today, you know, students at school and also campuses are aware. So the turn-up, it is, we want those ones who have been yearning for a skill.
So far, we have registered 490 students, but we expect to register 560 this intake. Last time intake, we registered 750, but the numbers which we are given to us this time is 560. So since we have 490, so very few are remaining. They are still outside, they are still coming in.
We are very much aware. We've seen thousands and thousands of young people joining the lines and really showing and witnessing that this program is a game changer to the vulnerable poor as targeted by the president.
A number of beneficiaries expressed their enthusiasm towards the initiative.
Told me to bring only 4 passport photos, the national ID and the LC1 letter. There's no any requirement like money or bribing. There's no. This is true, and I encourage all my brothers and sisters who are outside there. When you hear this again, you can come with one heart and join this.
We are so glad for you having given us this opportunity to go back to school. I've took a course of construction, and I'm well pleased. Out there, I feel so impressed, and I'm so glad. But the life I've been in, it has been a life of struggle.
Presidential Initiative on Skilling the Girl and Boy Child offers skills in 16 courses of carpentry, plumbing, bakery, tailoring and electronics, among others, at the different centers. Mariana Wari, UBC.
Now, the government has emphasized the move to empower the Uganda National Oil Company to supply fuel and gas in Uganda. The Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, tabled for first reading the Petroleum Supply Amendment Bill 2023 to incorporate UNOC into the business. Ms. Nankabirwa insists that the capacity of UNOC is justifiable and asks Parliament to expedite the legislation process. Under the current arrangement, Uganda imports petroleum through the oil marketing companies with structures in Kenya and Tanzania.
Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has presented the Petroleum Supply Amendment Bill 2023 for the first reading.
I beg to lay on table the certificate of financial implication to this petroleum supply amendment.
The bill is referred to the Committee on Natural Resources to be processed as per Rule 129 of the Rules of Procedure.
The move is to amend the Principal Act and initiate a stand to allow Uganda National Oil Company to source and supply petroleum products to the available licensed oil marketing companies in Uganda.
Calling upon support from Ugandans. It will hurt me to see a Ugandan really hitting down on your own oil company. You know?
Minister Nankabirwa draws arguments from the experience which has partly kept Uganda's hands tied for long while dancing to the tunes of imported structures.
The international prices, I have no say. But the multi-layered system of Kenya, which end up making the cost of the fuel at the pump price high, is what I'm trying to work out with. So I'm expecting that the cost will not be, increased because of the new policy. No, No, I don't expect that. And for the money, you watch the space, okay? I am not going to ask for money from Matia Kasaija to do the business.
When asked about the capacity of UNOC in handling this huge project, the minister answered in affirmative.
And the oil marketing companies have understood. So when you see your co-wife crying more than you, the mother of the dead child, then you know there is a problem. Okay? If your co-wife cries more when you've lost a child, then you know that she may be the cause of the death. Can you welcome your own company? Let them try.
Despite the stages of legislation, UNOC is already in advanced stages after it negotiated a financing partner, Vitol Bahrain EC, which will provide working capital and ensure a competitive pricing of petroleum products.
That with the mandate that government has entrusted on us and with the team that we have, we will be able to deliver this mandate. And on top of that, we are riding on the back of a very reputable company, Vitol, which is the #1 independent global trader with a turnover last year in excess of 500 billion. And they will be working with us in financing this business, and we are sure we will deliver competitive pricing.
However, Minister Nankabirwa assures the public of the exit route in case UNOC acts in contrary.
I am mandated as a Minister of Energy to nominate another person, but with approval of Cabinet. So we have put security.
Nevertheless, if the legislation succeeds, Government of Uganda remains in active dialogue with the Kenyan government to ensure a smooth implementation of the shift in policy.
But this is the real timing for me to strike, and I am striking.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The NRM Secretary General Richard Odwong has convened District Electoral Commission officers to discuss with them the Electoral Road Map and address issues hindering the smooth performance of their duties. He told UBC that the topics to be addressed include the receipt of threats from contestants during the elections.
Dismissing members so that they know the consequences of that behavior.
The NRM Secretary General Richard Odwong has convened a meeting with the NRM District Electoral Commission officers to discuss the 2026 Electoral Road Map.
The divisions of the cities, according to the current guidelines, some of them have even been merged and have created constituencies. So the demarcations have also affected us, and internally we are working to reorganize ourselves in that. And when we give you guidelines for the update of the register, we shall be capturing all those interests.
Despite the challenges faced by the cadres, the NRM National Mobilizer, Rosemel Seninde, encouraged the officers to revisit mobilization efforts leading up to the main elections in 2026.
Still have a work on our shoulders, and that is to mobilize the people to still support NRM. I know the challenges you go through. We know the challenges we all go through.
The officers also discussed on concerns on threats from NRM contestants during the election period.
The threats we get from the political players, especially the candidates that we manage elections for, they put intimidation on us, they put allegations that we have eaten money and so forth. So that is a very big setback as DEOs.
I would like to request that in the near future, God willing, since we are dealing with these people who move from place to place, in the near future, should there be an opportunity, kindly try to consider the aspect of transport.
Almost all the issues we had in the past elections have been emanating from the fake register we had. It had very many names, tripling, doubling, quadrupling.
However, the NRM Electoral Commission Chairperson Tang Odoi assured that such issues will be rectified and the pledges will be honored.
For any grievance they have, it is us, the NRM Electoral Commission, supposed to spearhead.
The payments which have not been done have again been with the Secretary General, will be done. If you have issue with an DEO about goats, about family issues, go and settle it at family. But don't misuse your office as a sitting member of parliament or a prospective member of parliament to think you will create a DEO before you become an MP. That is the role of the NRM Electoral Commission.
Justin Nakami, Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa, amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo, okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo, ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kkubo ku ki gy'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Multi Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Hello, Mom. How did you sleep? How is Salongo? Oh, Mommy, how is Grandma? And Simba, the dog, yeah, the funny one.
Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel Bona Voice Bundles. Dial *100 *1 hash. Select Call Bona to choose bundles from as low as 1,000 shillings from daily, weekly, monthly, or bundles that don't expire. Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
In this family, we can't agree on anything. Martha. We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate Alina Echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates Pakaku ground. Sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Sebo.
Yes?
This is the bill.
What?
Malaria testing, 10,000. Treatment, 100,000 since we put on drip.
Hey, Musao, can you read this for me? Before I brought my wife here, I'd already spent money on buying herbal medicine and drugs from the pharmacy, which didn't work.
But Sebo, the government gave out mosquito nets. Doesn't your family use them?
We got the mosquito nets, but they got holes and we didn't know what to do.
Protect your loved ones from malaria. Sew your mosquito nets whenever they get damaged to keep the mosquitoes away. Ensure all nets are tied up every morning to avoid damaging them. Ensure that everyone in your family sleeps under a treated mosquito net every night, whether it is a cold or hot season. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
No malaria will catch.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, moving on, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is bridging barriers to the land sector for effective coexistence. Minister for Lands Judith Nabakoba says consultants outlined the need to review the National Land Policy 2013 to address the current pertinent issues.
In 2013, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development introduced land reforms to resolve land injustices. The ministry thus hired land experts and consultants to conduct a public survey on the effectiveness of the National Land Policy 2013, and these after 10 years have presented their findings.
There are certain areas where the Ministry of Lands has performed exceedingly well, especially areas to do with protecting and creating awareness on people's land, conducting researches about the different issues of land, like studies on women's land rights, studies on customary tenure, especially certificates of customary ownership. The ministry has not done well in certain areas, especially in areas to do with regional and international regulations, because under here they were supposed to demarcate our borders, our boundaries between Uganda and the neighboring countries, but most of these have not been done. You also look at the capacity of the land structures that are supposed to deliver land services, but also the human capital, the people that sit in these offices and offer land services.
Consultants indicate only 22% of Uganda's land is surveyed and only 12% registered and titled through the Land Information System, striking poor contribution to the GDP, when 46% is land cases backlog that needed to be addressed.
Having looked at where are the challenges and how to address them, and where are the opportunities, and those we shall look at, and then new areas of reform.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Lands, Dorcas Okalanyi, says the meager budget allocation is responsible for poor performance of the National Land Policy 2013.
Through budget constraints, some of these things have not been done, and you remember we had COVID-19, which slowed us down. Now we are trying to recap what we've done and where we should be moving.
The Minister for Lands, Judith Nabakoba, stated the government plans to bridge gaps.
There are things where we have achieved, but there are things where we are still performing below what would have been the minimum required standards. These 3 days, I believe, will be days for us to see where is the problem, what can we use to solve
and make the recommendation using the whole of government approach. Because when you talk about disputes, land evictions, land grabbing, this calls for everyone's involvement, not only the ministry. The ministry, we are at the policy level, but remember evictions happen in communities where we have LCs, where we have government workers, where we have RDCs, meaning that the duty bearers in those respective areas have also to wake up.
The chairman Uganda Land Owners Association, James Mukasagalaruzi, asked the government to balance between landlords and tenants.
It had some kind of challenges that it was so much supporting the tenants, I would say against the land owners. And that has created a very, very big challenge in land administration. Again, you'll find that some tenant systems have been merged with the other. For instance, there are certain cases whereby you find that Milo has been surpassed by freehold, but those are all wrong elements of land fraud.
The National Land Policy 2013 has not answered the GDP directly, but rather rely on Uganda Revenue Authority collections, which declined from $65 million in financial year 2015-2016 to $17 million in financial year 21-2022. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
To the courts of law now, where the International Crimes Division of the High Court has ordered an American couple to compensate the child they allegedly tortured with 100 million shillings and also pay 3.3 million and 1.6 million shillings respectively for their crimes. Now, this followed conviction of the couple by Lady Justice Alice Komhanji of all the 6 offences they pleaded guilty.
The plea bargain agreement between the Director of Public Prosecutions and the accused persons Mackenzie Spencer and Nicholas Spencer led the couple to appear before Justice Alice Komhanji at the High Court International Crimes Division. The couple were facing offences of cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment, child neglect and unlawful stay in Uganda. They pleaded guilty to all the charges.
You, Mackenzie Leigh Matthew Spencer, between December 2020 and December 2022 at Naguru in Kampala district, you intentionally inflicted physical or mental pain or suffering, male, juvenile, aged 10 years. A plea of guilty is entered. Child neglect, contrary to sections 157 and 22 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 120. And this charge is against only you, Mr. Nicholas Scott Spencer.
Chief State Attorney Lillian O'Mara led the prosecution and briefed court that Mrs. Spencer isolated the minor in a cold-tiled room while naked.
She also made the victim sleep on a wooden slab without a mattress, repeatedly kept him naked and made him sit in one position on cold tiles with his legs crossed and folded.
Following their submissions in the agreement, counsels to the accused led by David Impanga told court that the accused were regrettable for their actions.
This wasn't a case of gratuitous cruelty. My lord, it wasn't a case of sadism or some form of perverted. The accused persons in our submission found themselves in a very difficult situation. The victim cut a fellow pupil at school with a blade.
Justice Komhanji ruled and concurred with the defense lawyers that there is a systematic problem in the country with no mechanism of taking care of unfortunate children. She sentenced Mrs. Spencer Mackenzie Leigh to a fine of 3.3 million for the offence of cruel and degrading treatment and 1.5 million for Nicholas Spencer for child neglect.
Miss Mackenzie, I sentence you to a fine. You're going to pay a fine of 3,360,000 Uganda shillings, and in default thereof, you shall serve a sentence of 2 years imprisonment. I sentence you to serve a prison term of 2 months, but you already served or you already spent on remand 3 months and 14 days. Therefore, you will not serve this sentence. I come to you, Mr. Scott. You are sentenced to a fine of 1,500,000 shillings.
She also directed the convicts to compensate the victim 100 million shillings.
And each one of you shall compensate this child to the tune of 50 million Uganda shillings, which makes it a total of 100 million Uganda shillings. That money shall be deposited on the account which is held at Bank of Uganda. It is the ODPP Asset Recovery Management Fund account that is in the interim pending the appointment of a trustee.
The convicts Mackenzie Spencer and Nicholas Spencer came to Uganda in 2017 and adopted children. They were arrested on 8th December 2022 after a complaint by their maid Pamela to police over the torture and neglect inflicted on a 10-year-old child. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, failure to provide food to suspects in Susan Magara's case by prison authorities failed the court to proceed with the hearing of the case today. Now, Judge Alex Ajiji of the High Court Criminal Division in Kampala was forced to adjourn the case to tomorrow, Wednesday, for further hearing.
The 9 accused persons in the kidnap and murder case of Susan Magara have appeared at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. The case is before Judge Alex Ajiji. However, a few minutes after the accused had entered the dock, their lawyers raised a concern to the court, alleging that the accused slept on empty stomachs. They also told court how they were changed from the prison where they used to sleep to an unknown place without a court order and their consent.
They are very hungry. Secondly, they are very restricted. Can't even get their relatives who can buy for them what to eat at the cells where they are placed. And they're actually telling me that they can't even follow tonight's proceedings. And if the court will really allow them adjourn the hearing of today, because they even allege they didn't have any good sleep. Even where they are now, they are hungry. But I think in the interest of them also following up the case, I pray that their position be considered.
Basing their prayers on the above grounds, they asked court to adjourn the matter, which prayer prosecution led by Joseph Chomuhendo objected.
For an accused person to have a fair trial, they need to be in the right state of mind. My Lord, a hungry man cannot be in the right state of mind. However, my Lord, we pray that the matter be stood over for an hour so that they can have something to eat and be resumed. Where would they get that food?
Judge Alex Ajiji compelled prison to answer why the accused were not provided food.
However, we reached their side, still we had some bit of condition, therefore we go somewhere they're supposed to take a rest until morning. That's when they were organizing their items.
But they had breakfast this morning?
Yes, please.
Is that true? You had breakfast? Did you have breakfast?
Judge Ajiji adjourned the matter to 1st November 2023.
It is true that court ended after 5:30 yesterday, and because of jam, as alluded to by the prison authorities, they could not be taken to their respective sleeping places, and I had no supper or evening meal. The inmates alleged that even this morning, they were not able to have breakfast, and as such, they are hungry and cannot follow the proceedings. Indeed, the right to food is paramount. A hungry person is not necessarily able to follow proceedings and stand for long in the dock. An adjournment to tomorrow is not injurious to this case, I must say, and so the matter is adjourned to tomorrow.
Prosecution witness Frank Nyakairu, the intelligence officer attached to Semwai, is witness number 10. The accused have been remanded to Rosella Government Prison. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and civil society organizations have encouraged teenage pregnant mothers to undertake vocational courses. The Assistant Commissioner for Youth and Children Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Mondo Chateka, says vocational training will address challenges they encounter.
Inclusive access to education. Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development wants girls who get pregnant before completing education to go back to school and complete studies. The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, together with the African Women's Development Communication Network, have engaged with girls who are being trained in various vocational studies.
But in between, there are breaks that we come to talk to them as part of their training, to encourage them, but also to hear from them what is going right, what's going wrong.
Students, if you have no teachers and you keep quiet, you don't go and report to the principal, teachers are not there. But actually we are trying our best to work with public service, work with the other stakeholders to make sure that institutions have teachers. But where there is a gap, make a noise.
Mondo Chateka, the Assistant Commissioner of Youth and Children Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, said this is the time to encourage girls to take up vocational courses.
Girl children getting capacitated with skills that will help them employ themselves or get employed and make a living out of what they have learned. And so what you see, the trades they are doing, they are the trades that used to be called male domain.
The ministry will work with NGOs to change the mindset of parents and children on vocational training.
That what girls can do, what boys can do, the girls can do. And so these girls have mesmerized many of us by doing the things they are doing.
A KCCA councillor, Sandy Moses, who sits on the Children's Affairs Committee, says training girls in vocational skills would address unemployment.
To offer the solutions we can have as KCCA from the Gender Department. Some of the solutions we have is, all we can do is make sure that we do fund from the part of local government. We need to fund these females from all over Kampala. We need to fund them not only in trying to get them capital, working capital, we need to really fund the organizations that are out there to teach them.
Government is emphasizing vocational training, and President Museveni set up presidential initiative on skilling boys and girl child to equip youth with various skills. Mary Namkose, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
State Minister for Youth Affairs Sarah Mateke has said that Uganda supports youth development at the continental level. She was speaking ahead of the Africa Youth Day grand celebrations due on the 1st of November 2023 at Sheraton Hotel here in Kampala.
State Minister for Youth Affairs Honorable Sarah Mateke has informed the public about the government's efforts in empowering and providing unique young Africans with opportunities in the region. She was speaking ahead of the Africa Youth Day due 1st November.
The African Youth Day is a day dedicated to celebrating the energy, determination, triumph, creativity, innovation, resilience of the African youth across the African continent and the diaspora.
The youth manager at African Union, Janice Kumalo, highlighted the Africa Youth Day to recognize young people who are leading in the country's accelerated youth development strategy.
When we speak of the 1 Million Next Level initiative, we are talking of an initiative that focuses on 5 specific areas. We call these the 4 E's and H. This is education and skills development. This is youth engagement. This is health and well-being. This is entrepreneurship and innovation, as well as youth employment.
The 1 Million Next Level Program Committee is analyzing and collecting data to address unemployment and education for youth.
We're also looking at entrepreneurship. How can we boost those who have the idea, those who are already in it, and of course the ones who are thinking of being new innovators? How can we bring them on board and also improve that? And of course we are looking at health. The health and well-being of people, of the youth, is very key if we have to address the rest of the other thematic areas. And of course within that, the health component, we are also looking at mental health as one of the biggest challenges that we have. And of course, other challenges that we have, especially among the youth,
is a lack of knowledge and awareness, or knowing where you should address your issues from and how they can be addressed.
President Museveni launched this program in July 2022 during the Continental Youth Symposium to provide platforms for ideation, interrogation of various approaches to youth development issues. Winnie Katwire and Mercy Akankwasa, UBC.
We'll now take another short break and return with the latest in business.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Lagos.
Doctor says you are getting better. I have a list of suspects in my file here, but I need you to help me identify the thief who attacked you.
This cat thief again. Malaria is a thief. Don't let it rob you and your loved ones. Prevent it by sleeping under a mosquito net. Clear bushes and all stagnant water around you. If you notice any symptoms, go to a health center near you to test and treat. And ensure to complete your full dose to avoid severe malaria, which could lead to death.
Are you passionate about a healthy living and wealth generation for your household? Learn how you can easily tap wealth and health from Mother Nature using science and technology. Omukenkufu Nyanzi Julius Echuma Chiwagala Chuma has written a knowledge-packed book, Money Grows on Trees, Sente Zimera Committee. Grab your copy today at 20,000 shillings only at Prof Bioresearch Electoral Mall, Aristoc Booklex branches, Acacia Mall, Garden City, Kampala Road, and Jumia, Uganda. Or call 0703 152 152 for deliveries. Remember, Money Grows on Trees, Sente Zimera Committee book is autographed by Omukenkufu Nyanzi Julius himself.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Now, the government of Uganda has committed to negotiate Uganda eviction from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, which provides Uganda's produce a window to the lucrative U.S. market duty-free. Senior Presidential Advisor of AGOA Matters, Susan Muhweze, says the eviction highlights gross human rights violation by the government, which she commits to engage relevant authorities for appropriate defense to avert trade repercussions.
Well, I've just read the statement regarding evicting Uganda from accessing the AGOA benefits. But as I read the statement, it said it's still under review until January next year. First of all, it talked about gross violation of human rights. I'm not aware that our country violates any human rights as such. So I need, first of all, to hear from the people that are above me, because that's not my area of human rights. So, but what I know, AGOA is very important for Uganda. When they take us off from AGOA, it will mean a loss of jobs. We've been adding value addition to our cotton, to our coffee. But I trust that the American government, led by President Joe Biden,
Uganda Bureau of Statistics has released a report for the period of 12 months to October 2023, indicating a slight reduction of 0.3% in the annual inflation compared to the year ended September 2023. The principal statistician, Edgar Niima, attributes the decrease to the annual core inflation, which lowered to 2.0% from 2.4% registered in the year ended September 2023.
The principal cause for this reduction is the decrease in prices of non-perishable goods, most notably maize flour, sugar, rice.
The inflation for October 2023 stands at 2.4% compared to 2.7% registered in September 2023. And this was mainly attributed to the core inflation, which registered at 2.0% for the year ending October 2023 compared to 2.4% registered for the year ending September 2023. Maize flour inflation was the main driver, and the inflation was recorded at negative 23.0% in October 2023 compared to negative 3.8% that was registered in September 2023.
The monthly headline inflation for October 2023 indicates an increase by 0.6% compared to 0.7% registered in September. Key driver to this is the monthly core inflation that rose by 0.3% in October, a figure similar to the one recorded in September. Water charges and diesel charges increased for the period of October compared to September.
Food crops and related items monthly inflation rose or increased by 2.4% in October 2023 compared to 3.8% increase registered in September 2023.
The construction sector inflation shows that inputs for the construction sector for the 12 months to September 2023 rose slightly to 2.0% compared to 1.8% recorded for the year ended August 2023.
We are having aggregate hardcore crushed or broken stone increasing to a 7.2% in the year that ended September 23, as compared to a 4.7% increase that was registered in the year that ended August 2022.
Fort Portal recorded the highest annual inflation at 4.7%, while Lombara recorded the least at 1.6%. Crispus, Arenitswe, Jime Akanshimeza, UBC News.
Let's have a look now at how the shilling fared today against the following selected local and international currencies in our Forex News. Sports news now, and we are looking at rugby, where Giants Kenya are set to tussle Zambia in the Victoria Cup second game clash at Chadondo Rugby Grounds. Now this will be a precursor to the game against Uganda over the weekend. Meanwhile, Uganda Kickboxing Federation returns to the limelight by sending a fighter to Nigeria.
Victoria Cup Rugby Tournament, Zambia returns into action against Kenya at Chadondo Rugby Grounds this Wednesday. Kenya has been in residential training in Kakamega and looks at a winning start before taking on host Uganda on November 5th at Kings Park in a fixture that also doubles up as the opening match of the Agon Cup. The Victoria Cup, last contested in 2019 and won by Zimbabwe, sees no title defense from the former champions in Uganda this year. The two rivals, Uganda and Kenya, will revive their clash with last meeting in the Rugby Africa Cup, where the Kenyans triumphed in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, after a while without international engagements, Uganda Kickboxing Federation has flagged off Rebecca Amongi to Nigeria for the Africa Kickboxing Challenge.
I'm going for the fight in Nigeria. Been training, I'm ready for the girl, I'm ready to win this fight.
Okukungula ku ntuuyo zaabwe blood and sweat zibadde bakola ki bwe batrainingira n'embeera gye bakoleramu emirimu gyabwe, naye kati wano yessaawa okulaga ensi nti talent mu Uganda gyeri, era omwana ono I'm sure she's going to exhibit the best of her skills in this game.
Representing Uganda Police, Amongi is upbeat to challenge against Nigeria's Gertrude Ndoze this weekend. The two will battle in the flyweight category.
And that brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Kijjanangoma, and we shall be seeing you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this new edition of Business Africa. This week we put the spotlight on initiatives promoting food self-sufficiency and explore the thorny question of how is Africa tackling the critical minerals revolution that are essential for the energy transition. But first, let's get on with the show with our top stories today. contributing to food self-sufficiency by rearing young fish. The youth in Côte d'Ivoire are not hesitating to take up the challenge.
I'm the kind of person who likes to do things that are rare. That's why I came to Aboisseau to be trained in fish farming and to develop it in my commune.
Guinean entrepreneurs have imagination. A clever young designer has set her sights on creating designs with waste paper and cardboard.
This black design is made from cardboard. I also use wooden skewers, and thanks to a match creation, these boxes are recycled.
Stop to uncontrolled urbanization. Kampala has taken up the fight to improve the living conditions in the Ugandan capital.
The emphasis in the road designs is putting emphasis on providing walkways, because about 70% of people who come to work in Kampala city, they come through walking.
Sidi Touré, Côte d'Ivoire's Minister of Animal and Fisheries Resources, has confirmed that 6 reforms and 23 development projects are underway. Côte d'Ivoire is rapidly modernizing its animal and fish production systems to reduce its dependence on external food supplies. The professionalization of the players and training are the main levers. Augustin Milan is a role model in this field. Our reporter, Mark Kamara, visited his farm in Aboisseau in the south of the country.
His name is Augustin Milan. This young man in his 30s runs a production station in Aboisseau, south of Comoé. His aim is to contribute to the self-sufficiency of Côte d'Ivoire, partly through his annual production estimated at over 1.5 million fish fries.
I started this business purely out of passion. I've been involved in fish farming since 2010. It's also important to note that I started out of conviction, and by that I mean a choice to do this business and to be independent as an entrepreneur, so I could also take care of myself and provide for my needs and those of my parents. It wasn't easy initially because I am familiar with the business.
A salesman in a telephone company, Milan received support from his parents to set up his own business. By working hard, he received the support of a number of international organizations. And cherry on the cake, the government of Côte d'Ivoire named him Best Animal and Fisheries Resource Operator in 2022 Hatchery or Fry Production Option. This award rewards the abundance of his production and the choice to produce fries, a rare choice for fish farmers in Côte d'Ivoire.
We specialize in fry production so that we can supply all fish farmers, all those who want to start fish farming, to have quality fry and fry available for their activities. It has to be said that we produce in 45 days. In 2023, we produce around 180,000 or even 200,000 fries every 45 days or of hormone-free single-sex tilapia. So, quality fry. But by March, April, we expect to start producing around 500,000 to 1 million fish fries a month.
In addition to producing fries, Milan is focusing on training, which he believes is essential to increase the number of qualified fish farmers in the region. This training involves both theory and practice on the farm. Like Asamoy Larissa, many people want to make a career out of it. I specialize in fish farming because we noticed that, despite the many rivers that flow through Côte d'Ivoire, the country imports a lot of fish. With this in mind, we said as women, why not get involved in this activity too, to reduce fish imports into Côte d'Ivoire. On top of training young people in aquaculture, Milan offers some of them their first job on his farm. This is the case of a woman from an agricultural school in Anibileko, a neighboring town. I'm the kind of person who likes to do things that are rare. That's why I came to Aboisseau to be trained in fish farming and to develop it in my commune. That's why I came here. Before that, I went on a 3-month training course. Then I did another training course for another 3 months. So that made a total of 6 months. After those 6 months, Milan called me back to come and work as a manager on his farm. Feeding fish fries is one of the major problems in aquaculture. Augusta Milan has found the solution. He makes feed from fly larvae, a technique for which he alone holds the secret. He produces this feed for his cooperative and other cooperatives in the region to facilitate their work in fish farming. National fish production covers only 14% of the population's needs. To make up for this significant shortfall, the country must resort to massive frozen fish imports, costing more than 300 billion CFA francs a year. By encouraging such initiatives, Côte d'Ivoire could make up its 600,000-ton shortfall in fish resources in a country where fish is the main source of animal protein.
And in the east of the continent, another commodity is in short supply: sugar. Consumers in Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania are particularly affected by skyrocketing prices due to drought-stricken cane sugar harvests. Several African governments have taken measures to control sugar exports and lower customs duties on imports. Closer to the stars, the Pan-African e-commerce platform Jumia has been chosen by American billionaire Elon Musk and his company Space Exploration Technologies Corp to sell Starlink satellite terminals to African countries. Jumia has the first contract to distribute the kits in Africa and will begin operations in Nigeria in the coming weeks. Since the end of imports of recyclable waste by several Asian countries in 2019, including China, there has been an accumulation of paper and cardboard in Western nations. But in Africa, these recyclable materials are delighting inspired entrepreneurs. This is the case in Guinea for Muriel, a banking and insurance graduate who now earns her living in interior design and dreams of building an eco-responsible decoration empire. A report by Sayon Kurma.
This is Muriel's rendezvous routine, picking up used boxes thrown in the trash every day from merchants.
Mr. Camera, hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Do you have any cardboard boxes for me? Okay, great, thanks a lot.
These boxes are a treasure for the young Guinean entrepreneur. Muriel starts with sorting them, and very quickly she gives these cardboard boxes a second life.
Generally, they either throw the boxes away or they burn them. But I don't like it when the cardboard is burnt. It pollutes the environment. So it's better that I recover these boxes since they don't need them. Whereas I need them to run my business, and so I recycle them.
These boxes are then packed and transported by the 23-year-old decorator, an eco-responsible initiative.
Thank you very much and see you next time. Can you imagine if all these boxes ended up in our gutters or in our trash cans? All this trash litters our city. This is why To A Match Creation contributes to the cleanliness of the city, while also protecting the environment.
These boxes are therefore the raw material for the founder of 2MH Creation. With this waste, Muriel makes art objects of all kinds.
Often I use the boxes to make designs, clock designs.
Clock designs, just like this jewel, are made from cardboard. The decorator later resells her work of art for 300,000 Guinean francs, or 30 euros.
This black design is made from cardboard. I also use wooden skewers, and thanks to To A Match Creation, these boxes are recycled, and that helps to make this beautiful design.
Muriel also uses paper. With this other material, the young entrepreneur makes original works of art.
This one is only made of paper. These rods are reams of paper that I folded. Then I painted them. All these butterflies around the design are made of paper too. So there we have only paper. As a support, I took cardboard, and I have something rigid to hang on to. It's very practical.
And this small business is working wonderfully for Muriel today. Her phone keeps ringing all the time. On that day, on the other side of the line, a client from Paris.
Okay, see you later, madam. Thank you very much.
Muriel, who is always busy, has an appointment that morning with Tawel to decorate her new hairdressing salon.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, Muriel. How are you? Yes, I'm fine.
If Muriel manages to find clients like Tawel so easily, it is mainly thanks to social networks. Barely 3 years after the creation of her business, the young woman has collaborated with about 20 companies, like the owner of this hairdressing salon in renovation. Her job, as in this hair salon, is not just to decorate. Muriel also gives advice to her clients, which makes her a real asset for them.
She's the best, and in Conakry I think she's the only one in this area, in fact, paper decoration. And that's revolutionary, I can say.
The services of the young Guinean decorator vary according to the needs of her clients. Here in the salon, her service costs €100, not to mention the fact that her client Tawel gave her full support to decorate the living room as she saw fit.
Wow, that's so pretty. Thank you for your advice and thank you for the creations. I want to highlight that I had no ideas. All these ideas come from her. I gave her green lights to go ahead. Here's the budget and I want a nice setup, and frankly, I am satisfied.
Interestingly, Muriel never learned the profession of an interior decoration in a school. The adventure began here for the young entrepreneur in 2018, when she was given the task of decorating her church. Since that date, she, who was destined to work for a banking institution, has decided to change hats.
The church was the trigger. It is thanks to that I discovered my talent, which was hidden in me. I had never decorated before, and I'm asked to decorate and design. In addition, the budget I was given was only €30. I was wondering how I would decorate such a big church with only €30. And that day I did it. Besides, it is with the rest of these papers that I created my company.
Since 2018, her project has been a hit. She perfected her skills thanks to the tutorials on YouTube, a progression that is now applauded by her mother.
I see her do things like that. It doesn't surprise me. I love you. May God give you more inspiration.
And today, Muriel's project is gaining ground, a project that has improved thanks to many services provided and orders received. For the entrepreneur, the only thing to do is to dare to undertake.
I studied banking and insurance, and I left my resume in several banks to find a job, and until today none of these banks have called me. If I had stood there doing nothing, I would have been unemployed. We have potential. Young Africans have a lot of talent and potential. You just have to find this little talent that lies dormant in you and value it.
The world of entrepreneurship, this graduate in banking and insurance had always watched it from afar. This profession, which she managed to develop into a passion, Muriel learned on the job. And today, more fulfilled than ever, the 23-year-old girl intends to build a decoration empire in Conakry in a few years.
Welcome to the second part of our show. Africa and its mineral wealth are more than ever at the heart of the energy and digital transition. That's what emerged from the recent Critical Minerals Summit. Some 50 countries and the biggest multinationals in the mining sector took part in the event organized in Paris by the International Energy Agency. One of the issues discussed was how to diversify the supply of these high-demand minerals such as lithium, cobalt, nickel and copper. We spoke to Amani Abu Zaid, Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy at the African Union Commission, to find out how Africa is tackling the issue. Amani Abu Zaid, we are at the IEA Critical Minerals and Clean Energy Summit in Paris. What are your expectations from this summit?
The African continent is extremely rich, especially in mineral resources. These extremely necessary resources for some are critical for the energy transition or digitization. And they are present in Africa. Between 50 and 80% can be found here. Unfortunately, these minerals continue to be exploited in ways not necessarily ideal for our development. It is true that here at the summit they are being called critical minerals, but for us they are development minerals. These minerals represent an excellent opportunity for us for the development of our continent first of all. If we represent 80% of the minerals, I would expect 80% of the participants to be African. But that's not the case. But it's a first step. It's the first summit. The world needs to be aware, and the global energy transition depends mainly on Africa, and that we Africans are at the very heart of the green economy debate. So we need to rethink our policies and how we look at minerals to develop this whole value chain and create real prosperity. Based on these minerals, whether in terms of education. So we need to develop the capacities and technicians, and we need to start industrialization and material processing programs and forge links with companies that manufacture batteries, for example, or electronic products locally. Create regional chains, because some mines are also located in several countries where there is work to be done, both at the national and regional levels and at the global level, as part of an equitable partnership.
A major issue is the signing of mining contracts. How are you going to enable African countries to negotiate these contracts better?
Thank you very much for this extremely critical question. Before becoming the African Union Commissioner, I was head of the African Center for Natural Resources. And this is what we have seen. The contracts that have been in place for some time now are far from being fair to Africans. Africa, through the African Development Bank, but also other entities, we have all established the African Legal Support Facility, the ALSF. It's a facility that stands alongside our African countries to watch and support them in negotiating contracts. And why am I saying this? For some companies, their turnover often exceeds the economies of several African countries. And they come with a whole set of legal requirements. And it's incredibly intimidating. And there's only sometimes the capacity at the national level to deal with such entities.
Another key issue is the balance between ESG, environmental, social and governance criteria on the one hand, and the development that Africa needs on the other hand. What are your thoughts?
The world is also rethinking how it sources these minerals. What we mean is that this goes beyond the ESG. We are talking about development and the objectives, not just the 2063 agenda, but of the development goals. We need to look at minerals not just in terms of the extraction or transformation process, but in an economic or human context, in terms of human rights and development in our countries. It's not just Africa, of course, but also other developing nations. So this is the beginning of a discussion. The IEA summit is the first phase, the first summit of its kind, and in terms of participation, it's very important. We're talking about 50 countries and almost 40 international companies. But like I said, we also represent 50 to 80% of these minerals. Africans should be at least 50% around the table. We're also becoming aware of our place in the world, especially in this very changing world.
Amani Abu-Zaid, Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy of the African Union Commission. The World Bank is pessimistic about growth on the continent. The multilateral institution is forecasting a slowdown to 2.5% this year, down from 3.6% growth recorded in 2022. The sluggish growth in Nigeria and South Africa, Africa's two economic engines, is responsible for this trend. The rapid urbanization of the continent, marked by the influx of the rural population into the cities, is a challenge for Africa. Kampala, the capital of Uganda, has taken the bulls by the horns to make living conditions much more bearable by providing basic infrastructure to the population, in particular when it comes to water treatment and drainage solutions. Take a look.
Richard Semakula lives in Kalere, a suburb of Kampala. Every rainy season, this low-lying neighborhood used to suffer from heavy floods that would submerge and destroy houses and shops.
That flood, it affected us very much because water, when it was flood time, the water we used to pass like here. All our property is spoiled. We had nowhere to sleep. If it rains today, you can stay with that flood like 7 days.
Today, Richard and other residents of Kalere have witnessed a significant drop in the frequency of flooding thanks to the reconstruction of the adjacent Lubigi drainage channel.
Since we get that project of that drainage, now at least we are good, we are okay. We can now sleep. We have put even our properties again. We don't see water around. It is now a dream.
Now, what the Lubigi channel has done is to drain the area in rainy seasons so that all the water goes into the channel and away from that area. So land that would have otherwise been unusable is now being used. In addition, people's properties are safer, and it's really created a significant impact, even in areas like reduction of waterborne diseases like cholera, which were a problem in that part of the city.
The reconstruction of this drainage channel is part of the Kampala Institutional Infrastructure Development Project, which aims to enhance the quality of life of Kampala's residents and commuters. It will improve the city's drainage systems and build and reconstruct roads.
Because Kampala concentrates the large portion of the economy, if you do not manage well the growth of the urban population, the urbanization of Kampala, you will see a big bottleneck. You just need to drive around Kampala to see all the traffic. So traffic jam, it has a cost on the cost of doing business. It has also a cost on the growth of the economy.
Out of the 1,200 kilometers of roads in the city, only 300 kilometers are paved, and a significant portion of the unpaved network is heavily trafficked. In order to address these challenges, the Kampala Institutional Infrastructure Development Project has already paved and upgraded 5 major roads in the city.
What we've observed now is that a lot of heavy traffic has been diverted away from the center of town, and they use this road as a bypass as they continue on their way to other parts of the country.
The upgrading of roads has not only improved mobility, but it has also transformed the neighborhoods that the new roads go through.
Back, the road was dust.
and it was impassable. When it rains, you could not, you could not drive properly because of the dust and the mud. But now, since the road has been constructed, there is some, developments. The business are going well. Vehicles, trucks, they come to our petrol stations. Now we can walk up to close to midnight because of the security lights.
We are really very happy for this tarmac road. It has made our lives easier because even our parents who bring students are very happy because we could lose students because of the roads. It could be muddy during rainy season, impassable. But this time, all parents are okay. They can drive any type of vehicle to Kisasi. And we are also okay that the people are staying in Kisasi and very happy.
The second phase of the project will focus on more road construction and will put an emphasis on providing more pedestrian walkways.
The emphasis in the road designs is putting emphasis on providing walkways, because about 70% of people who come to work in Kampala City, they come through walking. The project will also try to improve on the road junctions by signalizing them in order to improve traffic flow. The project will also work on 2 other primary drains.
Over the next 5 years, the project will be expanded to enable 1 million people living in Kampala to directly benefit from less flooding, faster commute times, easier access to markets, and better road safety.
If we really want to support the government ambition to become a middle-income country, we have really to scale up our interventions. When we talk about scaling up, it's about focusing on those activities that will really make a difference, but also focus on these activities at a larger scale so that you can have a much bigger impact.
Well, that's it for today. Business Africa is over. I'll be back next week, same time, same channel for Initiative Africa. We'll be meeting up with Suzanne Belnoun, President of the African Diaspora Women's Organization in Paris. In the meantime, you can watch this show again on our website, africaonair.com, and follow us on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Have a great week, and until next time, goodbye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda's oil discovery heralds a transformative era, poised to elevate the nation through robust infrastructure and poverty reduction. Witness the progress. The Albertine Region's international airport nears completion, boasting top-tier quality. Hoima, our commercial hub, is experiencing substantial growth. Oil is set to contribute a staggering net present value of $2 billion annually, 10% of GDP, for over 2 decades. While skeptics label oil a curse, Uganda is steering full throttle towards prosperity. This Wednesday, join Timothy Nyangweso on Behind the Headlines, where we dissect expectations and debunk myths. Our distinguished panel includes Honorable Dr. Flight Captain Mike Mukula, a dynamic figure blending business acumen with political prowess and renowned for his flamboyance. Honorable Ruth Nankabira, leading the charge in energy and mineral resources, she guides the pivotal discussion. Dr. Fred Muhumuza, an astute economist providing invaluable insights into Uganda's economic trajectory. Angelo Izam, formerly a prominent journalist covering the Albertine region, now a key figure at Uganda Investment Authority. A name synonymous with brilliance. Every Wednesday at 10 p.m. meet Professor Sarah Sally, Dean of the School of Women and Gender Studies. Tune in to Behind the Headlines with Timothy Nyangweso exclusively on your public broadcaster, UBC. Witness the power of progress. Ignite the spirit of Uganda.
This week on UBC. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Coffee consumption has been part and parcel of Uganda's culture for many generations. Robusta coffee is specifically an indigenous crop in Uganda, which was first identified in sub-Saharan Africa in the 19th century. Coffee has therefore been consumed in many parts of Uganda, and it embodies many cultural values.
The Robusta coffee originates from Uganda, and therefore we can talk about many good attributes about our coffee. We have a wide germplasm where we can do different types of coffees, different flavors and aroma.
Although coffee was adopted successfully as a commercial export crop since colonial times, the culture of consuming coffee as a beverage has not been well spread across the country, so as to generate a thriving domestic market for the crop that many Ugandans produce and rely on for income. To earn more money from coffee, Ugandans need to take interest in adding value to the coffee bean.
Any action you put in the coffee to earn more money is adding value. But we can add even more value by breaking the beans, by roasting, by packaging.
This is the annual Agriculture Expo in Kampala, Harvest Money. Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA, is one of the many exhibitors at the show. In addition to its stall, a UCDA mobile van has found a slot amidst the hustle and bustle of agriculture exhibitors, where coffee is being brewed and served to exhibition goers at no cost. It is a drive to promote a culture of consuming the coffee beverage. UCDA is venturing into new spaces, introducing a new generation of Ugandans to coffee and making it available in high-quality brews to well-seasoned coffee drinkers.
We participate in various conferences, exhibitions, events, where we expect to find very many people, high traffic, and we tell them about coffee, and we give them a chance to taste Ugandan coffee.
Elizabeth Natukunda has taken a break from attending to customers at her stall to replenish her energy with a cup of coffee.
I find this coffee very, very pleasant. The aroma just attracts you from afar, and it's more interesting to know that it is grown up here in Uganda.
Mobile coffee brewing is bringing good coffee to Ugandans who would otherwise not get the experience and appreciate the drink. It is anticipated to expand the market for the most consumed brewed beverage globally. An estimated 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed daily worldwide. Ugandans are now getting a chance to rediscover their coffee heritage and explore new ways of integrating coffee consumption into their lives.
So Ugandans are used to instant products, and they actually think instant coffee is the best coffee. But we're trying to show them here, what we are doing here is showing the whole chain. We're trying to show you how you can get coffee from a seed to a cup. So we're demonstrating roasting, and we're showing them this is how you turn green coffee to a roasted product. This is how you grind it. This is how you brew it. You don't have to have all those expensive machines to brew coffee. You can brew it at home, in your cup, in a jug, in a sieve, and all those other brewing technologies we are showcasing here.
Although over 90% of global coffee production takes place in developing countries, most of the market for the global commodity is found in a few industrialized countries. 95% of all coffee produced in Uganda is exported, with only 5% being consumed locally.
Currently, the information we capture from the earnings is mainly from exports. And we have seen exports volume increasing from 3.5 million bags to 6.3 million bags. And with those, we have seen exports revenues moving from around 4,450 million US dollars to 862 million US dollars by the end of last financial year. That's not enough of the earnings, because we have potential to earn up to 1.5 billion US dollars. And therefore, our target of earnings from export of green beans alone is 1.5 billion US dollars by 2030. But coffee is also benefiting many people. About 2 million Ugandans are involved, households are involved in production. But overall, about 12.5 million Ugandans earn from coffee in one way or the other.
While the figures of coffee export continue on this upward trend, it is still crucial that the local market for coffee is explored and developed through promotion of domestic coffee consumption.
When Ugandans drink the coffee, the farmers will be able to gain a reliable source of income, because the markets that we export to sometimes change. Sometimes they can also get alternative sources of coffee. But when we are sure that there is market in the country, the farmer is assured of an income and will be able to add value, so we will be getting higher prices for the coffee. Not only that, it's very good to sell what you consume. So when you consume, you'll be able to understand what is required to get good quality coffee.
This is also a sector that has great potential to create jobs for the youth.
Uganda having one of the fastest growing youth population. We are working with 19 universities. We have coffee clubs in these universities, and recently we've given them espresso machines so that we can interest many of the youth in coffee. By understanding the health benefits of coffee, by understanding the business opportunities in coffee, and we believe most of these are in one way or the other going to be involved in coffee, and therefore earning more from the coffee.
Well-trained baristas are the substance on which appreciation of quality coffee is built. Baristas are trained to make varied brews of coffee, especially espressos. Without baristas, exposure to fine coffee remains low, which sets the expectation of coffee drinkers below standard and dampens demand for the beverage, leading to low consumption. Barista training is therefore critical to developing a vibrant coffee drinking culture. To be a good barista, one has to understand the process of coffee production, right from the garden. How you source the coffee you brew will in the end affect the quality of coffee you serve. Here at the UCDA training facility in Nakawa, a group of students from Kyambogo University, who are members of a coffee club, are being taken through a barista training course. Some are university students already taking courses in food science and technology, which means that barista training is an additional skill that will help them enter easily into the job market.
These barista trainings teach the students how to brew coffee, how to roast coffee, and even it gives them basic information about the coffee value chain and how to do basic quality control when they're analyzing coffee.
22-year-old Patricia Kadondi is a student of Kyambogo University doing food science and processing technology and a member of the coffee club. As the Secretary General of the Coffee Association in her university, she is well aware of the myths and misconceptions around drinking coffee, especially among young people. Association members, therefore, spread accurate information about the positive attributes of coffee drinking and encourage others to try the beverage. She will be even more confident now that she has been trained as a barista and can brew coffee professionally.
I have learned making different coffee beverages using the espresso machine and also using the manual equipment as they were showing us. Even the cold beverages like iced lattes, iced mochas, even flavored coffees.
Annette Nakazibwe, another student of Chambogo who is currently doing her internship, is more assured of a starting job as she enters the job market. But she also nurtures ambitions of becoming a business owner, and becoming a barista is already expanding her scope of options on how to get started.
There are few people who have these skills. Meaning, if there are few, I have higher chances of getting a job and starting a job. And we've learned that Uganda has put much energy in developing coffee consumption in our country. Meaning, if I can look for a job, there are higher chances that it's there. So there are few people, and if I can set up a business, there are higher chances that people can fit, since even the government is in it and is investing in it.
Jesse Lutwama is proud to have gotten a chance to showcase his skill at making a cappuccino.
So today we've been doing the brewing session, and I got a chance to show to you people what we've been learning, and I made a cappuccino, which is basically espresso plus the steamed milk. And the froth has to be more than the milk for it to qualify as a quality cappuccino.
He is already confident that his understanding of good coffee will put him in a good position to find employment.
I believe I can make a quality barista, and even judging the people out there, because when they serve you something and you have no idea about it, especially us the Ugandans, most of us, we hardly take those things. So someone can just lie to you that this is a cappuccino, but if you have some knowledge, you get to know and appreciate what they are doing. Personally, I think of engaging in a cafe for the meantime as I look for a stable job after my university, because it's a bit of a struggle to find employment.
Jonathan Mugerwa has been taking the class through a coffee brewing session, showing them various ways in which a good cup of coffee can be brewed.
Basically, we first teach the students on how to use other brewing equipment. Why? Because most of them being youth, the machine itself may be expensive, because the machine costs around 15 million to 20 million, the full set of such a machine. But that can't be a limitation for them to take coffee, or even take coffee at home, even at their universities, because most of them are university students. So if I show them the different brewing equipment and how they can use them, then also we train them on a machine and to make different beverages. By that, they get employable skills, because we know that, and the good thing with the coffee sector, like in Uganda, it's one of the growing sectors. It's almost now in every city, there's a coffee shop, at least in every town, and they are bringing in new coffee shops are coming up. So we train them and we equip them with such skills.
Many of the youth trained here are easily absorbed into the sector.
The baristas that we train in UCDA, many of them have excels. Some of them have been employed and they get very good jobs where they act as baristas. And recently in Rwanda at the AFCA, there was an Africa Barista Championship where the barista who won the competition had been actually trained from UCDA.
UCDA also organizes spaces for baristas to display their skills and demonstrate excellence. The annual Barista Championships bring the best in the sector to not only compete, but also to explore new avenues for growth.
At the end of the barista training, we give them a certificate to show that they actually trained from here, but also they're eligible to participate in the National Barista Championships, a competition. So all of them who have trained, they can apply to participate in the competitions.
Growth of this budding sector can be visible from the increased investment in good quality coffee shops and introduction of new ones in places that until recently were not known to have coffee shops.
Yes, we are seeing very many Ugandans taking up this coffee drinking culture. And we are seeing it mainly, you can see the number of coffee shops that are being established. We are seeing quite a number of youth setting up also coffee shops, going to those restaurants and cafes that are selling coffee. Even the demand for knowledge about coffee roasting, coffee brewing, we see it is really increasing compared to the past years.
Training by UCDA is also having a multiplier effect through former students becoming trainers. Christopher Tigaiza Sezi started out as a waiter and a barman, but is now a proud owner of a budding coffee enterprise, Embago Coffee. Located in the outskirts of town, close to Bugolobi and Mbuya, his coffee business adds value to coffee and can deliver a well-brewed cup of coffee to customers in the comfort of their own homes.
Coffee roastery, we buy quality beans, then we add value in terms of roasting, then to branding, and then also at the side of the barista, we skill the youths with knowledge on how to deal with coffee right from the farm to the final cup.
Sezi got an opportunity to take a barista course with UCDA more than 10 years ago, a skill that he has built on to find employment, save money, and establish his own barista training school.
In UCDA, we learned on how to deal with coffee right from the farm to the final cup. The farm processing, roasting, and then brewing the coffee, and also talking about the coffee. Because as a barista, you move like a salesman.
He made sure to participate in national barista competitions, where his performance opened doors for him to travel and find better earning employment in the Middle East.
In 2014, participated in the National Barista Championships and won the Best Aspiring Barista. Then 2015 also, I was the runner-up, won Best Espresso. Then 2017, finished the 5th place. That's when I got an opportunity to travel to Kuwait as a barista and a roaster.
While in Kuwait, he could comfortably do his job because he already understood the foundation of good quality coffee.
In UCDA, we learned more about blending and how you can roast different roast profiles, how you can cup the coffee and know that this coffee it has this character, and then how can you talk about it itself. So in Kuwait, it was in Kuwait where I was working as a roaster, I could tell that this specific number of clients want this, and then another, maybe other clients want this. So.
Since he always had a dream of starting a coffee business back in Uganda, he now had an opportunity to save money.
At least I saved some good money, which can buy some equipment. So when I came back, the saving we had also with other team, we combined it, and then we got some coffee equipment, the espresso machines, and then grinders, and then few brewing equipment for startup.
Sezi teamed up with colleagues and was able to open a coffee value addition business, which incorporates a barista training school.
Currently, we are teaching basic barista skills. It's like more introduction to coffee, understanding equipment, and then brewing coffee itself, different kinds of beverages. Then also we are having the advanced barista course, which is more detailed. We teach you all the basic points, and then go to the side of just training, smoothies, and then shakes, milkshakes. Then we are having what they call the Pro Advanced. This is an advanced course whereby we take you through all the basic points, advanced points, and then we teach you on how you can run a cafe, buying with proper equipment and accessories, how can you maintain quality. So far we have trained over 110 baristas from 2020, and then some of them have got jobs within Uganda, and most of them have traveled outside Uganda. Some are working in Kuwait, some are working in Qatar, Dubai, and other European countries.
Embago roasts and markets a well-packaged coffee brand, Embago Coffee, locally and for export. Located at Ovino Shopping Mall in Kisenyi is Barista House, another barista training school and coffee value addition business run by Annette Nyakaisiki, a former student at UCDA.
Yes, why I chose downtown, actually I'm a person who have come from very far. At first, before I joined, I myself was just a dropout. And then I realized most people who are downtown, people who are working in maybe, you see those markets. Others are graduates, but others are single mothers, dropouts who don't have hope. And in downtown, that's why we have even people who work even as prostitutes and others, street kids. They're all in downtown. And then most people, they have that perception whereby they think coffee is only for high class people. So I looked into it and I was like, you know what? I need to target also my people who are like me when I was joining. Because I joined as a dropout, but being a barista helped me to go back to school and graduate. Actually, I'm a qualified person in what I'm doing because I have a diploma in hotel management and institution catering now. And then I specialized in band management.
Her passion for coffee was inspired by attending a national barista championship organized by UCDA.
There were only male baristas. Was so inspired to see only one female. And I was like, how can all male baristas be champions? And for us women, we are left behind. So from there, I took it up and I be like, I want to become a barista. So I asked my friend, and my friend introduced me to one of the people who was judging them. That is Miss Claire Rakatogoro, who was by that time working with UCDA. She was so happy. And then she told me to go to UCDA, then apply and see how I can become a barista.
Nyakaisiki decided to enroll for barista training at UCDA.
But in 2011, they were enrolling coffee quality controllers. So I went 2011, that was in Feb. I started training as a quality controller for 2 months. I got certified. But within quality control training, we also taught how to do barista things, that is making coffees and others. So from there, I took it up and started working as a barista, because by that time, my friend who has taken me there had a coffee shop. It was called Dome Cafe.
She was introduced to the coffee value chain, thus laying the foundation for her current enterprise.
Yes, very many skills which I learned by that time. That is learning about coffee right from crop, how they grow it, how they manage it, how they take care of it, post-handling practices until it reaches the cup.
Nyakaisiki hoped that one day she would participate in the National Barista Championships, which inspired her, and become a winner.
My vision was to become a barista and become a champion one day. So that was 2011. I started working as a barista. 2012, still working in Dome Cafe. But in 2013, I happened to join now Cafe Bravo. So when I joined Cafe Bravo, I was like, I have to go now and compete and see how I can become a champion. So I competed, ended in semi-finals. Then from semi-finals in 2014, I competed, then I had joined Good African Coffee. I became a champion, what I was looking for. And I became the first runners-up and also the best female barista in the country.
Winning opened doors for Nyakaisiki to learn about the world and nurture her dream of becoming a business owner one day.
It has been a long journey because from there, of course, I had to go to Kenya, represent my country. From Kenya, I became the best female barista. I represent now Africa in Mexico, that is 2017. So in 2017, I happened to travel to Mexico. When I reached Mexico, I found that there are very many young youth who are so energetic, having training schools. They have coffee plantations, they have restaurants.
Nyakaisiki felt challenged to venture into business, especially after being introduced to specialty coffees.
So when I went out and I saw like these people really have training schools, I was like, if I go back to my place, I need to start up a training school and see how I can tap into helping very many youth and also take forward the word specialty which I had learned. Because I found these people, they were so passionate in terms of specialty, that is where quality is very important. You look at time, you look at the type of coffee you are using, you look at temperatures, you look if the coffee is sweet or not. And then remember, Uganda, we are behind in terms of local coffee consumption.
But the dream had to wait until she accumulated the required capital.
So when I came back in 2017, I decided now to start now saving little by little. So in 2018,
UBC, inspiring Uganda.